Some stories are buried beneath dust and time, stranger than fiction, yet completely true. Secrets etched in stone, ink, and memory. Let's explore the past like never before. Welcome to Chronicles and Curiosities. The first author in human history wasn't a man, but a high priestess who ruled with words and power 4,000 years ago. What if the most feared Allied spy in France was a woman with a wooden leg who the Gestapo called the most dangerous? Why don't we know their names? History remembers kings and generals, but what about the ones who saved lives from the shadows? Let me tell you about 3 people who changed the world and got zero credit. We're taught to remember the statues, the speeches, the famous names etched in stone. But the truth is, history is built by invisible hands, by people whose names you've never heard because someone decided they weren't important enough. Not today. Today, we pull back the veil, and you might just see a piece of yourself in their courage. Let's go back further than Shakespeare, Homer, or even the Bible. Back to 2300 BCE, to the bustling city of Ur in ancient Mesopotamia. That's where we meet Enheduanna, daughter of a king, high priestess, and the first person in recorded history to sign her name to her writing. She wasn't just penning temple receipts. She wrote poetry, old, raw, personal, hymns to Iana, the goddess of war and love, verses about exile, divine power, and grief. A woman wrote the first words of recorded human literature, and we forgot her? How many others have been buried by time? Her poems were copied in schools for centuries, yet her name vanished as empires crumbled. It wasn't until archaeologists uncovered an alabaster disc with her name that her story resurfaced. Like a ghost stepping back into the light. She shattered the first assumption that only men wrote the first chapters of literature. The first author we know by name was a woman. Fast forward to World War II, Europe is burning, and one woman with a wooden leg, named Cuthbert, is quietly becoming the Gestapo's worst nightmare. Virginia Hall wanted to serve as a diplomat, but her country said she was unfit because of her prosthetic leg. So she became something else entirely, a spy. In occupied France, she organized vast resistance networks, sabotaging trains, helping Allied pilots escape, arming fighters. The Gestapo didn't know her name. They just called her the Limping Lady. She dragged her wooden leg across the Pyrenees to keep fighting the Nazis, and they called her the most dangerous Allied spy. She returned to France disguised as an old peasant woman, filed her teeth, trained resistance fighters, and helped pave the way for D-Day. When she was finally awarded with the Distinguished Service Cross, she asked for a private ceremony, no spotlight, just duty. Her story stayed classified for decades. Now let's go to the bitter winter of 1777. Valley Forge. George Washington's army is starving, freezing, dying. Then comes a woman carrying corn. Polly Cooper, a member of the Oneida Nation, traveled hundreds of miles with her people to deliver baskets of white corn. When soldiers tried eating it raw, she stopped them, taught them how to cook it so it wouldn't kill them. Then she stayed, tended to the sick, cooked, healed. She didn't have to stay. She wasn't part of the army, but she stayed anyway. That winter, compassion was her weapon. When offered payment, she refused. She said it was her duty. Martha Washington gave her a black shawl in thanks, and that was all the recognition she got. They weren't kings or generals, but they were giants. Enheduanna with her poetry, Virginia with her defiance, Holly with her corn and compassion. Their names were nearly lost. Their impact wasn't. History isn't made by the loudest voices. It's made by the ones who show up when no one's watching. Which stories have we forgotten from your part of the world? If these stories moved you, if they've made you question what else we've forgotten, and stick around, there are more names worth remembering. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments whose name deserves to be remembered.